Good evening, Saberland. Fender, Bender, and Alara here from Vader's Vault, showing off our latest custom saber, Sentus Dominus, or Forgotten Master. This is based on our popular Ferris Gladius saber that we did last summer. Since we never do repeats of exact designs, we of course do variants. The customer did ask that we try to remain as faithful as possible to the original on the front half of the saber, which I think we've done, even though we did add some subtle differences here and there. One of the main differences between this saber and the last is this saber is powered by an Ultrasound 2.5 rather than the crystal focused 4.1 that was in Ferris Gladius. This saber also has a very complex mid-choke crystal chamber. That upped the difficulty of this saber by 100-fold. Mid-choke sabers are difficult as it is because it separates usually your power solution from your soundboard, vice versa, and your switches. Rather than being able to be in one consistent diameter hilt, you get them separated by a choke point. To add further salt to the wound there, we have a crystal chamber requiring its own set of rules and wires and mounts and everything else in there to also be able to sneak wires by to the rest of the saber. But we pulled it off in true Vader's Vault style. The crystal chamber is quite detailed on the inside. I don't know that it will show up on video at all. If not, you can see it in our numerous posts on the forums and eventually on our website. But there is a detailed brass rod coming down from the front, and the crystal itself is held in by a polished copper crystal holder. And it is, of course, lit with a blade matching color LED. The saber is ignited by a LEDEngin 5-watt green, just like the original. And since the Ultrasound 2.5 doesn't have the same LED sequencing capabilities as the crystal focus, we had to do some creative wiring for the blinking accent LEDs, because that is something that the customer wanted on this version that was quite popular in the last. It is quite blingy. It is very, very look at me on the 8 LEDs that make up the front half of the saber. Now, since, like I said, they don't sequence like the crystal focus does, we used blinking and flashing accent LEDs. The front two are red to green, which are similar to the ones that we had on Ferris Gladius that changed from red to green. Then it goes to a blinking blue, red to green, blinking blue. And since also the Ultrasound has pulse wave modulation, just for all you people out there who like to wire your own sabers, blinking accent LEDs don't generally like pulse wave modulation. So if you're using blinking accent LEDs with an Ultrasound or even maybe a buck, you'll probably find that you might have some trouble with it. So you may want to run them direct, which is what we did. As soon as you pull the kill key and you hear the activation boot sound from the Ultrasound, you will see that the blinking accent LEDs light up, as well as the illuminated switch is the indicator.
Ultrasound 2.5.
And you can see that you have the two pair here that change back and forth from red to green, and the two blue blinking accent LEDs. And they will scroll through some random patterns, and while not as sequenced as could be with the crystal focus, it is quite a display to look at and is very blingy. A couple of other differences that we did on this one, we used our standard low profile activation box. The one on Ferris Gladius was our prototype, so it was about an 1/8 inch bigger up top. So this is a much sleeker look. To add to that, we continue with the brass aluminum color scheme that we did up front. Now in Ferris Gladius we just had some brass showing through to aluminum, and it was a little plainer looking, so I wanted to add something to it, so I went with the brass with an aluminum shroud with a milled slot back into that to show back through the brass, and a custom pommel. So it really added some more flair to the back half of the saber this time around, whereas I felt it may have been a tad unbalanced with Ferris Gladius. So now, to me, it looks like a sleeker, faster variant, very, very, very highly polished, Very shiny, very cool, very sleek. And let's get it powered on in the dark so you guys can behold the LEDEngin in all its bright glory. And the blinking accent LEDs going wild. Very cool. It has a brass thumb screw just like the original. See, very bright, very even green blade. That is the nice LEDEngin 5-watt green being driven on the K2 setting of 1500 mA. I don't usually put blade flicker on with the US 2.5, especially for videos. It doesn't show up so well. There's a lighted anti-vandal switch there with the green dot. Recharge port is also in that low profile activation box. And the nice bright raw quartz crystal in the crystal chamber. Hopefully the customer likes it. I had a lot of fun doing it, revisiting that design, which was one of my favorites. Sentus Dominus. Thanks again from the vault. See you later.